Hey everybody, welcome back again to another episode of You Haven't Seen That Podcast, or YHST for short. I'm Isaac.
I'm Elva.
And this is the show where we cover movies on the growing list of films that has people asking us the question,
You haven't seen that?
We started this podcast a year ago. We covered that in the last episode, the last live. And thank you again for joining us. In case this is your first time here, a reminder, we are doing some of these episodes live. So stay tuned to our social media at
FOREHED Films on Instagram and TikTok.
That spells out Forehead Films on Instagram and in TikTok or TikTok. So stay tuned for any of the stories. We'll let you know about a day before so that you could tune in and enjoy the show. I've said before, and I'll say it again, we do them at 8 o'clock. So if you get a notification the day before, just know it'll be at 8 o'clock the next day. And tune in and kick your shoes off, enjoy your popcorn, and here we go. As you can see, or for the people listening, they can't see because they're not watching the live. You can't really go back and see it, but I'm pretty sure I'll clip it and put a reel up. This is Milton. He's behind us. He's a producer. He's got his own set of headphones because we love him. And he's our dude. We used to have him displayed out here, but we had to tuck him away because I guess guests were getting a little freaked out. Whatever.
I guess. Maybe it was you.
So we're going to be covering 2 movies today and no trailers. I know you're probably wondering, is it going to be The Joker? No, we're not going to cover that one live, but I am going to do that one with a friend in a couple of days, and then that'll be coming out probably the week after next. But I will have a review for The Joker in a few days. I enjoyed it for the most part, by the way. So we saw 2 movies recently, and they were...
The Wild Robot and Megalopolis.
Oh, you were able to say it. I was talking to people about it recently, and I was like, Megalotron, Megalodon, Yugoslavia.
Megatron.
Let's start off with something fun, because I want to get into Megalopolis. And if you see my reviews recently, you already know how I feel about it, but we're going to expand on it. So, Elva, let's talk about The Wild Robot. Take it away.
Oh my God. Okay. So Wild Robot is an intelligent robot called Ross, and she's stranded on an inhabited island. And that's where she decides to learn some of the nature around her. She learns to be one with nature. And let me tell you, I cried from the beginning to the end, and I wish I brought tissues with me because my sleeve was a little damp.
Yeah, I turned over at you and I was like, are you crying? Stop, the movie did it to me. I had some misty eyes. A movie's really got to hit me hard to have me full on cry. I think the last movie that I actually cried at this one point for the rest of the movie was Till, the movie about Emmett Till. Oh, what a heartbreaking movie.
You know, that one was heartbreaking. I didn't cry, but I think, no. Here's the thing. I didn't cry because I knew the whole story of it.
Okay.
So I already knew what to expect. But when you throw me into something like this where I don't know what to expect, and it just it hits those heartstrings, then I'm just like, I wasn't supposed to cry in this movie, and now I am. So from beginning to end, I was crying, and Ross is the robot. She's voiced by Lupita
Nyong'o, yeah. Nyong'o?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Really? I'm sorry. I jumped ahead I was like, no, you're going to mispronounce it. And you actually had it. My bad.
Yeah. Pedro Pascal as Fink. Kit Connor as Bright Bill.
Who the hell is Kit Connor? I looked him up and I'm like, I've never seen his face. I've never seen the work that he's done. He's a built dude.
He's in Heartstoppers, Rocket Man.
I've seen Rocket Man on.
He's Old Reggie. I don't know. Okay. He's been in some stuff. Mm-hmm. Maybe just stuff that Ready Player One. He's a Reb kid. Nope, never mind.
I saw that too. I don't know. I'm not familiar with him.
That's fine. We can move on from that. What else do we have?
Mark Hamill as Bear.
Yeah, Mark Hamill.
Unrecognizable as Bear.
Matt Berry.
Oh my God, Matt Berry. If you guys don't know who Matt Berry is, do yourself a favor. Check out the show. I whistled again.
Stop whistling.
Check out the show, What We Do in the Shadows. It's on its last season, and Matt Berry is a comedic genius. Not going to do any impersonations. Just check out Matt Berry.
Catherine O'Hara as well.
Oh, I love Catherine O'Hara. I didn't know. I looked her up, and I didn't know she did so many voiceovers for animated stuff.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, yes.
Because there's some stuff where she's, puts on an affect. Like over the head, she was Penny, the hedgehog or the porcupine, one of those. And she has like an accent, but in other voiceover things, she's just like a mom.
Yeah. So I should have known already from the beginning that this movie was going to make me cry because the director is Chris Sanders. He did Lilo and Stitch, How to Train Your Dragon, Mulan, The Croods.
I haven't seen it, but I heard The Croods is enjoyable.
I haven't seen that one either. But he did a lot of the Lilo and Stitch, so...
What was so impactful about this movie and the heartstrings that it tugged was that it covered so many... It was relatable in its own way. Like, it had its life stories, its life lessons. Not life stories, excuse me. It had its life lessons, but it's like the fact that Roz it's a fish out of water story. And Roz's function, her programming, is to find purpose, as we all struggle to find purpose.
She's to complete the task, help you complete a task.
But she has no task to even complete. And she's surrounded by things that don't understand her and see her as a monster. I think we can relate to that, in some point of her life, and learns to adapt to come to other people's level. So people pleasing, I can relate to that a crap ton, So finally, through time and time and time, she adapts and is able to understand the animals, and they kind of like her here and there, but they're still not liking her. And I'm not going to try to spoil the movie or nothing like that. And then through some events, finds her purpose in the form of an orphaned gosling, an orphaned baby goose, voiced by Kit Connor.
Yes.
And now it's about motherhood. Now it's about single motherhood. And so it just keeps going on with these things and parenthood. And she's, interacting with some of the other animals that are parents.
The fox that decides to be their friend, help her teach the gosling how to fly before winter.
And the dynamic between people that haven't had family, between those who are struggling to start a family,
have family,
and are raising individuals. Specifically, Brightbeak is the character, the baby goose that Kit Connor voices. Bright Bill, is basically the runt of the litter of his goose.
The only one that survived.
Yeah, the only one survived, but he is a runt. And so essentially it's also covering disabilities. And it continues to go on from there, where you're falling more in love with these characters and you're relating with every new life lesson thing. Not life lesson. What am I trying to say? I can't find another word for it, but just things that we all deal with in life. And I'm surprised I didn't full on cry, but I didn't have a quiver of the lip towards the end, because I know we talked about on the last episode about animations not having heart. This movie had loads of heart and and was presented and executed and literally illustrated in such beautiful ways. All of it was this grand ensemble of a movie. It was epic when it hit, and there's these moments where it needed to hurry up and get to some emotional spots, and then it did, and it didn't move past that. It sat with it and let you breathe through those scenes and those moments, and develop so many characters. There were a lot of characters. There was your main three characters, and then you have some secondary and tertiary characters in the background, and how they were introduced here and there, and were still built up, where the background, the backstory built up, is that's how it's done. It was just executed so damn well. So you got to fall in love with absolutely every single one of these characters. Oh, do you want to talk about any favorite scenes? Do you have a favorite scene? Because there's a lot in this movie in a good way. Or favorite moments?
I think the favorite moment for me would be...
Without spoiling anything, of course.
The montage where it's Bright Bill and Roz, and she's teaching him how to do a survival instinct for him. But it's just how she goes about it and everything, and how they just made that moment just its own. It was beautiful, and it stuck.
It's very reminiscent of single parents that not only try their best to give their kid to have them help them succeed, but by trying not to be a helicopter parent, which I know is a tough thing, but also having the setting aside the ego to essentially think outside the box and pull in some of the community who are, well versed in a thing that maybe they can't cover. For instance, Bright Bill is trying to fly, and then she essentially employs the help of the Hawk, voiced by Ving Rhames, which I didn't expect. And he has like 3 lines, and it's just fucking great. It's so strong. Like, I haven't seen Ving Rhames in anything else. And he's just like, these are your claws. Whoosh. You're like, oh shit, is that Ving Rhames? I love those moments. I'm a big nerd where I go, is that voice actor? And she does it too. So, we don't annoy each other.
Like that one right there.
I think ultimately my favorite, I do have a favorite little scene, and it's Roz's first interaction with the possum.
Oh.
But here's the thing. It's a funny scene because Catherine O'Hara's possum character has her 7 kids, and she's basically giving her little wisdom of how raising kids are, which is there's no instruction booklet. There's no instruction manual. You just kind of got to go with it. But this little scene is so crucial because something happens that illustrates that nature is brutal. That nature is very brutal. And then Catherine O'Hara goes, yeah, well, that's just what happens. And it's done in a quick way, and it's done in a clever way, and in a funny way that you kind of go, oh, you know what? Yeah, nature is brutal, But the overall story is kind of like you don't have to accept that nature is entirely and always brutal, because I know people are in certain situations and environments where they have to see the world and nature that way, that you have to put your guards up because everyone's out to get you and stuff. But then sometimes you are presented some good opportunities where you are allowed to drop your guards and you can bring people into the fold, and your metaphorical pack gets a little bigger, your community gets a little bigger, and they may be different people, they may be outcasts, but it's all about strength and community. It was beautiful. It was really beautiful. One other thing too, one of the messages, and I can 1,000% relate to, is going against society's standards. Loved that message. Going outside of your programming / instinct or nature.
Or better yet, sometimes to survive, you must become more than you were programmed to be, is one of the quotes that Ross said.
There you go. And no,
I will not cry right now.
But I relate to that because I struggle with, if you've met me, I'm a little different than other people. And I've learned to try to embrace that and utilize it. And I have lost, not lost like people died, but like I've, lost some friends because they didn't, I wasn't able to be myself. And, case in point, like we went to go hang out with a friend earlier today, and I feel the most comfortable around her and her guy and her sister. And like, that's a feeling I haven't felt in a while. So cheers to you and shout out to you for making the small world feel a little bigger, Hammer. It's a sappy moment. I'm not going to cry. So, did you love this movie?
I will watch again.
Yeah.
With tissues this time.
Yeah. And it is a kid's movie. Different me, yes. It is a kid's movie, but I think that if you don't have a child or a nephew or a niece or anyone small to go take,
just go.
I think you could still go and enjoy it.
No, I think you. No. Go ahead. Just go watch the movie. People next to us were sitting without children.
Yeah.
No, but as I I saw like people review this movie and everything, I didn't see one thing that didn't mean it was like an adult can't just go see the movie. Mm-hmm. So I say you just go. And also it's a book as well.
Yeah, it is adapted from what's the author? Not Zach Brown. Zach Brown's the the principal to McLaren.
Props for you for knowing that. Oh my God. Yes.
Condescending much.
No, because every time I try to like tell you the principles of like F1, like
I only know that one, and then I know Horner.
Peter Brown.
Pete Brown, not Zach
Peter
Brown.
Brown.
I got the
Brown. Brown.
So yeah, see this movie. God damn it. See it now. Skip the Joker, go see this movie.
No, skip Megalopolis.
Oh fuck.
Keep the Joker, skip Megalopolis.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it. Megalopolis. We saved it for last because it's not good. Mm-mm. It's not good at all. Okay, Megalopolis is a movie that's been in the works for the last couple of decades, and it's written and directed and produced by Francis Ford Coppola. And Francis Ford Coppola, actually look him up because I don't want to get any of these wrong, has an impressive filmography. He's directed little movies like, like Godfather.
1, 2, 3 was his daughter, but we don't talk about that.
Apocalypse Now. He's has an impressive filmography. Because this movie was in the works for so long, my guess is that Hollywood was like, we read the script, and we don't like it, and we don't think it's going to sell. Because this guy funded the movie himself by like selling his winery or his vineyard or whatever the hell. And the budget of this movie is $120 million that he funded himself. That's, oof. Written, directed, produced, and funded. All by Francis Ford Coppola. Which means...
That's good wine, though.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, we tried it before.
Oh, geez, I don't remember. Which means that if you're wearing all of those hats, you're going to be very precious about the things that you've written, the things that you've directed, so that if someone else comes by and goes, hey, Francis, I think you might need to cut this, that, and the other, or change. This is mine. I funded it. It's my fucking movie. And it ultimately shows in the worst way. It is an impressive cast. Could you have the cast there? It's an impressive cast. Adam Driver,
Giancarlo
Esposito, Aubrey Plaza, Shia LaBeouf. Who else?
John Voight.
John Voight is in this movie. I
got the name right. Yes.
I thought John Voight was not with us anymore.
No, he was
Crassus.
Yeah, whatever his name is. I got a name right.
Jason Schwartzman, Lawrence Fishburne, Aubrey Plaza I mentioned. Those are like the big heavy hitters.
You forgot the one of the other main big heavy.
I don't know who that is.
Natalie Emmanuel. She's the
Natalie Emmanuel. You've probably seen her in Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones,
right?
Yeah.
Anyways, so a really, really strong cast. Now, people often wonder, like, how does an actor choose these things? I think if you're given a script and it says directed, written, and produced by Francis Ford Coppola, like, you're gonna say yeah, right? And you're gonna trust that person's work and do it, and then you're gonna give it your all. So I don't think any of the performances were bad, because I think per the sides and per the script, they did everything that they could to elevate that role and elevate that writing. But if the writing is not good, an actor's only going to take that work up to, if it's at a fucking 1, they're going to maybe take it at a 2 or maybe a 3, That being said, the actors really fucking gave it their all. And it is just, there's so many weird scenes. God, how do we even explain this movie? There's a lot of symbolism. There's a ton of symbolism. There is a main storyline, and it gets buried in so much flashy imagery and quick cuts and quick edits, and this like, the visual effects were not great. And I don't know if they were trying to go for that. It reminded me of, oh darn, what did it remind me? It's kind of like the Spy Kids. That kind of like blue screen looking background is super weird. It's nothing rooted in any type of reality, even though it's supposed to be taking place in a fictional New York called like New Rome. So all that means is that everything's sort of Rome based or Rome themed. I mean, I like the costumes. I liked what they were trying to do with like the costumes and the way some of the shots, the scenes were shot and framed, and even some of the acting kind of felt like, pulled from like Citizen Kane kind of thing. And I think in my review I even said that it was like Citizen Kane meets 2001: Space Odyssey meets Clockwork Orange, all directed by Tommy Wiseau. That's not a good thing. Because you can see a lot of those influences. So like I said, it has its story, which is Adam Driver's character is this philanthropist genius, Caesar Catalina, right? And his nemesis is the mayor, played by Giancarlo Esposito, Cicero. So they're enemies, right? And then the third big player is, Crassus, played by John Voight. So those three people, right? Rich and powerful. Adam Driver's character is the cousin to the nephew to John Voight. And that cousin is jealous of Adam Driver's character. But Adam Driver's character falls in love with Giancarlo Esposito's daughter. And so there's this like whole thing going on. And then Aubrey Plaza's in there. Her character's name was Wow Platinum.
Wow.
Wow. Like, That's her name, Wild Platinum. And I love Aubrey Plaza. I like how out there she goes with her roles. And she really went for it in very scantily clad outfits and whatnot. And a weird sex scene with Shia LaBeouf. And then there's Shia LaBeouf, and he, you know, if he has the opportunity to go weird with a role, he'll go for it. And he went for it. And it just ultimately did not work at all. What was your take? I mean, I'm talking everyone's ears off, but
I don't know. It was very confusing to watch. It kind of reminded me of Metropolis a bit. It also gave me a little bit of Shakespeare with like the whole, why are you dating him? Why are you seeing him? No, but she helps me. And he helps me, and blah, blah, and kind of like Romeo and Juliet, but without them dying kind of thing.
Oh, it's absolutely a lot of that.
It gave me a lot of Shakespeare, a lot of all that. And then I still have not pinpointed. There's another one. I think I either read it or is a movie or something. It just reminds me of it. Can't remember it. But I will let you know once I remember what it is. But it was okay. It's not one that I would want to rewatch.
No.
It's not one that I would recommend.
At all.
It's one that I'm like, well, at least I saw it. I'm not giving it much of a harsh criticism like you are, because it just feels like as much as it was, also Metropolis was like the same. It was trying to get that from a German film to an American, like an English film. It took its time and stuff like that. But I'm not gonna like bash as hard as it is, because it just feels like I'm bashing on those people's work as well, and I don't want to bash on that.
Interesting. Okay.
Just because they picked one. Now, if it was Fantastic Four, that'd be a different thing.
Again,
I'll bash on it. But yeah, no, I'm not gonna bash too hard on it. It was just not my cup of tea, and I'm okay with it. Maybe if I rewatch it one more time down the line, or a couple of years from now, and I understand it a little bit better, or after I remember what it reminds me of, then maybe it makes more sense.
So here's the thing. When we were, we always talk about the movie like on the drive back and whatever. And I was like, whoa, wow, what the hell? We did see it in the theater with 2 other people. Like nobody wanted to go see it. It only made 5% back of what it put in.
Yeah. There was one person that walked in and just like, no.
Nope.
But I don't know if it was like one of those things where it was like, oh, I thought it was the wrong, like walked into the wrong theater and it's like, oh, this is not my movie or something.
So I want to be more clear with myself. Here's what I'm bashing on, right? Actually, before I tell you what I'm bashing on, I see, like I said before, I see what it was trying to do. In other words, I see all of the ingredients. It had fresh ingredients. The actors, the director, the writing, not so much, whatever. A couple of other components. It was just the end product. All of it put together was not well done. Because in the end, it's got to be like not digestible, for lack of a better word, a digestible movie. And it wasn't that. And I think you were telling me like, oh no, the story was this, that, and the other, and this was symbolism of, X, Y, Z and representative of that, and some stuff was really on the nose compared to other stuff. And I said, no, I know. Like I saw that it was there. It just wasn't executed well. What we got was just a lot of mishmash. At the end too, I go, does somebody need to check in on Francis Ford Coppola? Is he doing okay? Do we need to talk to him? Does he need a hug? Because it felt really, here's the word, frenetic. It just felt all over the place. There were these plots, and yes, I'm talking plots because I have a problem when stories have like multiple plots and issues rather, where they got quickly resolved. I don't like when movies do that because it ends up holding like zero. It doesn't affect the rest of the story. It just does the thing. And then we resolve it real quick. It's barely an inconvenience. And then you're just on and done. And that was the movie. It was, how long was it?
2 hours.
Yeah.
2 hours, 18 minutes.
It dragged a little bit. Oh, and I forgot to mention that Adam Driver's character has a superpower, or maybe it's a metaphor, or maybe it's actually real, where he's able to stop time. And then he loses it for a minute and it comes back. And that problem's quickly resolved, but it has zero effect on the rest of the plot.
I wish I had that
time-stopping power?
Yeah, that'd be great.
You know who else had that time-stopping power?
I really want to say your mom.
Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell. Look it up.
No. I'm okay.
Didn't think I was going to reference Saved by the Bell, did you? I'm full of surprises. My stomach feels better, so I'm like full of surprises.
Anything else you would like to add to that movie?
Oh, I forgot to mention there was a satellite crash, and then it crashed and part of the city blew up, and then everyone forgot about it, moved the fuck on. Oh yeah, then there's also I'm spoiling the fuck out of this because I don't think anybody should go see it. Then there's a scene where Adam Driver's character gets shot in the face, and you're like, whoa, is he gonna die? No, he doesn't die. Did I mention it's by a 12-year-old? And then I forgot to mention this. What makes him a genius philanthropist is that he found this material called Megalon, and it's a sci-fi material that he's using to build the city, Megalopolis. But it also is like a biomechanical material that, like, if you're injured, you just put it on you, and it'll heal you in a short period of time. So even though he got like part of his face blasted off, like, he put a little bit of that on, and within like a few minutes of the movie, he's fine. He's right back to normal. Megalopolis.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to mention this one too. There is a part in the movie at the very end after Aubrey Plaza's character starts hooking up with Shia LaBeouf's character, and their whole thing is that they want to steal all the money from Crassus, played by Jon Voight, and because she is in love with Adam Driver's character,
Caesar.
with Caesar. He's her mistress, and he just like blows her off immediately. Because she wants to get that money. She wants to give it to him. So ultimately, he was always going to get the money in the end. But there's a part where Crassus, Jon Voight, who's supposed to be kind of representative of like Joe Biden, right? Because he's kind of like losing his mind. What? Have you seen the thing? And he goes, this is a quote. He goes, hey, look at my boner.
Oh my God, yes.
And I go, what the fuck is this? And he pulls off his blanket. I'm like, I don't want to see an old man boner. And then he's like, it's a crossbow. And he fucking kills Aubrey Plaza while Platinum. Wow, Platinum, dead. And then shoots Shia LaBeouf in the ass. It's a fucking weird movie. I had to write these things down because there was like, I would go, oh, that's right. That happened in the movie. Jesus Christ. Don't mean to blaspheme, but yeah. Okay. I'm very curious to see if this movie would have worked in the 90s or in the 80s, where that type of like visuals, you know, people were very artsy and stuff like that. That's a movie I was thinking of. Romeo and Juliet. It was like a different take on the movie.
Oh, the guy that did
Moulin Rouge.
Yeah.
Like those movies worked in that era. The same thing how like the Peter, and this is a weird comparison, but same thing how like the Farrelly brothers, right? Me, Myself, and Irene, Dumb and Dumber. Like those Kingpin, those movies don't work anymore in today's era. Like I feel like this movie, if it was done, in the 90s, I think it would have worked. I think people would have been into it, but would have been receptive to it. But geez, 5%. They got, what did they make back from it? Domestically, they made 5.4 million out of the 120 million, and then internationally made 2 million. That's garbage. That's a Francis Ford Coppola movie. That's a fantastic cast. Those two things made me want to go see the movie. I wanted to like it. I wanted to love it. Hell, I even, like I said before, I wanted to just at least like it, you know? But that's all I got to say about that movie. Jesus. Oh, man. Sorry, I went on a whole rant, but I know you said your bit about it. Was there any more?
No, not just I don't really have much to say about it. I did get the little humor that was in there. I'm not sure if you heard me a little chuckle here and there.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Was it when that one character was supposed to be like Miley Cyrus, like she was like a virgin performer?
No.
Or was it when Adam Driver went on a whole bender and it went on for like 5 minutes and he was like dancing around and doing stuff and just being all druggy and shit, and that went on for a really long time. It felt like they used these lights and just like, were like, here you go, like, borrow them. And then he just did a whole like seizing thing. No. Not that part?
No.
Okay, just wondering. Asking and answered. All right, well, there you go. Those are my thoughts. That was the most passion I got about anything. So before we close it out, of course, we're going to play our Rotten Tomatoes game. And now it's your turn.
My turn?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Let's start with Wild Robot. I want you to give your Rotten Tomatoes score.
Mine?
Rotten Tomatoes score is from 0 to 100, 70 being fresh.
My score would be 90.
How dare you not give it 100%?
Shut up. 99.9.
Okay, I'll take it for that. Room for improvement. 99.99%?
Yeah.
You're actually kind of close. Critics gave it 98%, and the popcorn rating, which used to be the audience score, is also at 98%.
Good.
A rare instance in which the audience and the critics both agree. 98%.
It was a good movie.
It's a great movie. How dare you say a good movie? How dare you not give it 100%?
Okay, the other one.
Megalopolis. What do you give that movie?
30.
Okay, and then what do you give? What do you think the audience? Excuse me. What do you think the critics gave that movie?
I think less than 30. 23.
Critics gave it a 46%.
What?
What do you think the audience, the popcorn meter is?
23.
34%. So you're with the audience.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just because, I don't know.
Usually in movies like this, like the really artsy kind of movies, the critics will see that art aspect of it and they'll give it, like about that much, 10% more than the audience will give it. I'm surprised the audience gave it the 34%. I'm surprised they didn't give it like a 10 or anything like that.
Maybe you give it that.
What would I give it? I probably wouldn't give it a 10. I probably would float it around 30%. Megalopolis. I don't think it earns the 46%. And the Wild Robot, 100%. I think everybody needs to see that movie. I haven't bought DVDs in a long time, but I'm about damn near gonna buy that movie.
I'm gonna buy the books. Cry with those. Go watch the movie again. Cry again. There
was one time when you used to, not used to read, you still read, but there was one time you were reading and I walked in and you went, ugh, what happened? Like, it's a sad book.
No, that book was horrible from beginning to end. There was not a moment where that I did not cry. Oh my God.
All right. Was there anything else you want to say to the audience or say to the listeners before we end the recording, but continue on with our life for a little bit?
Oh, thank you for listening.
Well, there you go. There you have it. There it is. Let's wrap it up. Thank you again for listening to another episode of You Haven't Seen That Podcast, or YHST for short. You can find us
on FOREHED Films on Instagram and TikTok.
And that spells out what?
FORE.
That spells out Forehead Films. Thank you, Alpha. We've only done it for a year.
Well, you had your mix-up. Okay.
That's deserved. Thank you guys for listening. Comment, hit us up in the DMs. We'll see the Wild Robot. Let me know if you do see Megalopolis. I just want, misery loves company. It's like when I send people those accident videos and stuff. I want you to join in the nonsense and misery. So check those out. But in the meantime, let us know what movies you're excited to go see. Let us know what reviews you're excited to hear. And ultimately, let us know what movies are on your growing list of films that has people asking you the question, you haven't seen that? Later, folks.
Okay, bye.